Allô, Cynthia!
Hello!
Ça va bien? Parle-nous un peu de ce que tu fais, de qui tu es. Ouais, raconte-nous ça.
Cynthia, je suis à la base, I'm a singer, writer first, and basically storytelling through music is my way to express myself. And I also like to kick people's ass through martial arts because that's fun.
That is literally a physical representation of a Chica Mala to me. You kick people's asses when it comes to maybe in your storytelling, your music.
I like to tell stories that are both anchored in fantasy and also very raw and human, and to give a voice to people who might feel ignored, the misfits, tell stories that we don't always want to hear. J'écris beaucoup sur ce que je connais, évidemment, sur mes blessures. C'est beaucoup inspiré par des histoires fantastiques, puisque c'est comme ça que je m'évadais quand j'étais plus jeune. Je trouvais un endroit où je pouvais être moi, où je pouvais être bien dans l'imaginaire, alors qu'à l'école, je me faisais écœurer. Même mes cousins. Fait qu'en fait, moi, c'était partout que je me sentais jamais à ma place. Mais dans mon imagination, je pouvais être qui je voulais. Mais vraiment, dessiner me fait rentrer en théâtre musical. Et puis là, j'ai découvert une forme qui pour moi a tout ce que j'aime, le drame, la danse, la musique, the high stakes, badass characters, and yeah, I wanted to be both Buffy the Vampire Slayer and I wanted to be a Disney princess. I wanted to live in a world filled with dragons and castles, and I wanted to be the freaking assassin, beat monsters' asses.
Ha! I love that. Yeah, so I can see that there's a lot of like um powerful females in like the kind of characters that you want to play, that you want to
Yeah.
portray. Is it hard as a female performer and writer to kind of get your message across, do you find?
I mean, yes and no. It's interesting because there's this organization I like called Maestra. Basically, got created because like there was like maybe three like musical theater writers on Broadway, and they didn't know each other. They're
Wow.
like it's like a minority in the music industry and in musical theater as well. And in art, historically, there have been way less feminine voices because we were told to shut up for so long, and even some people took like use some fake names to publish.
Like fake male names in
Um,
order to
yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Wow.
I
Okay.
can't think of like of some names on top of my head, but I know it's been done many times through history. Women's like writing under a fake name just to be heard, to be read. Definitely interesting in that sense. And there's an expectation of what we should be like. Even some of my best friends would say sometimes, because I like to mess around like with martial arts, like to like fight around like, and they'll be like, oh, be soft. I was like, no, I can be both feminine and kick your ass. Like I don't have to choose. I can be both. I can do martial arts and then I can put my makeup face on and wear the pretty dress. I can do both. And
Yeah.
I even questioned my pronouns, because I was like, how much of that is like learned and how much of that is me? It can lead to a lot of questions about
Yeah.
who you are if when you don't feel like you fit any of the stereotypes.
Do you think there's like a revolution in terms of what females could be defined as?
Oh yeah, we're in our villain era. And that is just like a lot of badass women like owning who they are. It's interesting. I Somebody was telling me about the women who run with the wolves, and like it's all about like the history of the wild woman and how it was labeled as a witch so many times.
Yeah, that's a good
They're
point.
very
In the past, if women were to stand up for themselves, they would often be labeled as witches.
or crazy. They would say they had hysteria, and then they would like basically put them away.
What would be important for you to show show to the public about your women characters?
Just women who do their own thing, just choose,
Yeah.
make make their own choices and like live their own life. Because the thing about like being badass, it's not about like being fearless. I don't want to be fearless. Fear is like basically why you're alive, because without
I
fear
yeah.
you might have been, oh, what about if I jump down that cliff? It's like acknowledging it and being like, okay, fear is gonna be in the back seat, but I'm driving, and like that's courage. You just like, I'm always gonna be afraid. I'm afraid right now. I'm afraid all the time, and I'm anxious, and I dig in my own skin. But I keep going. Vulnerability is a superpower. You know, I don't have to be perfect to be worthy. Perfection being put on women
Yeah.
is such a burden because
Thank you.
perfection kills dreams.
Yeah.
It kills dreams. It kills everything. Think about like every time you sit down to write a song or a story, and you stop yourself before you even go because you start thinking about like, oh no, it's not gonna be good enough, and then you don't get to anything. And if you ask me like what kind of character I want to portray,
Yeah.
I just want the truth. I want the
Yeah.
truth. I want the freaking honesty. Stop giving me like those Disney characters with like they're like just black and white. I was watching this TV show, I'm not gonna name it, but it was just so bland. I was like, do they think we're stupid? Like
Right.
that's not life. That not none of that is true. None of that feels true. Give me like morally great characters. Give me like people like with like real situation with real feelings, and it can be in a fantasy like setting because I read fantasy books all the time. Yeah, for me it's very important to have like the truth within a story, even if it's like totally fiction. What's more badass than telling the truth?
100%. Yeah, that's absolutely badass, and that is a Chica Mala thing to do.
I'm a chicken mama.